Mitch, it's time to sail the high seas.
I don't think my voice can go that high, Ed.
No. It's time. We've got to walk the plank.
Oh, I already walked the dog this morning. She's all tired out.
No. We're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, mate.
Why?
Because we are.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is his first mate, Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Thanks for joining us again for another show. If you do like the show, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you watching and all your comments as well. This week, we've got an awesome episode. If you can't tell already, we're talking about one of my favorite movie series, Pirates of the Caribbean. How are you going, Mitch?
Wait, I thought we were talking about ice pirates.
We can maybe talk a little bit about some other pirate movies as well, because really, I suppose, pirate movies were huge in the 1930s, 40s. I remember watching Captain Blood with Errol Flynn, not back then, I'm not that old, but on, reruns and things like that, and really enjoyed it up to probably the 1950s or 60s. Really quite popular, those B grade sort of pirate movies. But that's
a swashbuckler.
A swashbuckler. That's right.
Buckle your swash, Ed.
Yep, that's right. I did. I've got tight today, which is good. So that were really huge, and then they sort of had a bit of a falling out. I think thanks to a lot of things, like Star Wars came along in the 70s, and that's when all those sort of films sort of fell out of favor. Sci-fi was the big thing. They tried to do some pirate movies. There was now, if I remember this correctly, Walter Matthau was in a movie called Pirates in 19.
Oh, yes, he was.
Was that 1980?
It was bad. Yeah, I remember it now.
And that was a huge film, like a big budget.
Oh, big budget, yeah. But was it spelled pirates but a P-Y?
It might have been
R-A-T-E-S. They were trying to be clever.
That's right. It's like when they spell fairies,
Yeah, I've seen that. Like,
just to make it a little bit.
Don't forget, Cheech and Chong tried to be a pirate too.
Yes,
with Yellowbeard, and that was a bad movie. Marty Feldman's last film. Yeah.
So that was a bit of a flop. That was, I think, 1983.
Yeah.
80 was it 84 or 85 was Ice Pirates?
I thought Ice Pirate. Well, it was before Spencer for Hire. I thought it was more like 82.
Okay, yep.
Mary Crosby was in it, and she was fresh from Dallas. She's the girl that shot J.R. Ewing. And then I said Cutthroat Island was the real big thing. But you said that's a great movie. That's Gore. What's his name?
No. It's Rennie Harlin who directed Cutthroat Island.
But Rennie Harlin, he did another big movie, though.
He did Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, that's it. But Gina Davis was married to him, correct?
Yes. And they did the Long Kiss. I think they did the Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel Jackson as well. And Cutthroat, I remember really looking forward to Cutthroat Island because I love pirate films. I was in the hometown of Errol Flynn in Hobart in Tasmania. And years apart, I've got to say. And so I love my pirates. Yeah. So I remember going opening day to see Cutthroat Island. Yeah. And this was a ridiculously expensive movie. I think it was one of the most expensive movies of all time up to that point. And you could see, they
built the ships. Wasn't that the big expense? Yeah.
It was and they blew them up and everything. And the stunts were fantastic. The score by, I'm going to say John Debney. I'm pretty sure the score was by John Debney.
You said it was really good, wasn't it?
It's an amazing score. They had like 110-piece orchestra. It's like the Eric von Korngold scores of, Robin Hood and Captain Blood. And it is a wonderful, rollicking score. The movie, not so good, but it's a fun movie. And some of the stunts and action sequences are amazing.
This is what, 97?
It was no, it was
Wait, no. No, we both are. I hate when we do this, even though you're going to put the
I
date.
know this is giving me
afterwards.
more work.
No, because Matthew Modine. I met Matthew Modine at a picnic here in New York, and I only knew him really from I'm going to say Full Metal Jacket, and Quarter Flash, and a couple other movies. So I met him in 94, 95, and Cutthroat Island had not come out yet. So
I reckon I have a feeling it was 95 that it came out.
Okay.
And it was a flop. When I went, it was a mega flop. When I went to the cinema, it was I was expecting to be in the large cinema in the multiplex. It was in like a room the size of this. Okay. Yeah. And there was me and someone else in the audience, and
that was it. That was like when I saw Blade Runner. It was me, my mom, and one other person in 1982 when Blade Runner came out. I was at that.
And
but you're forgetting one of your favorites, The Muppets Treasure Island. What year was that?
That was, I think, 92. Was that 92 or was that Muppets? Now, see, now I'm thinking I'll have to look back at our Muppets episode.
Is this really Ed Dollstar in the show, the man who knows Muppets and pirates? Because I'm beginning to think you've been taken by aliens and replaced.
I've been having that barrel is empty of rum now. That's why.
Oh, that's what happened.
I was doing some method acting, getting into the swing of things. So
have you been drinking out of the coconut monkey again, Ed?
Just the chilled monkey brains. That's all. So. Muppets Treasure Island came along, which was, great fun with Tim Curry as well. And then Disney announced that in early 2000s, 2001 or 2, that they're going to be doing a movie based on the beloved attraction Pirates of the Caribbean. And most people thought, a movie based on a ride.
No, well, I was going to say, there was this attempt by Hollywood to reignite the pirate genre films. It was like you said, you had your Captain Blood and all that stuff in the 40s and the 50s, and then it died. And then I don't think there's anything in the 60s and then 70s here and there. And then they're like, you know what? Let's bring back pirate movies. What are you going to do about this?
Yes.
And, but I don't. Did they spent a lot of money on it relatively, or
it was a pretty big budget. It was I suppose what you call a tentpole picture. It was going to be. They aimed it to be a blockbuster. It wasn't planned to be, like a series of films or anything like that. They just thought, well, let's put this out. Of course, the attraction came out at Disneyland in the late 60s, I think 1967. It moved to Walt Disney World in 73, and then the ride, people knew it. It was not, I suppose, like starting like a Cutthroat Island where, you never heard of it, or, pirates, but.
No, I think it was based on the song from Pinocchio. Not Pinocchio. Wait, is it Pinocchio? A Pirate's Life for Me, or is that?
No, that was written by I
thought it was the Sherman Brothers.
From no. And that was written for the attraction for.
Oh, that's not part of the one of the movies.
Well, it's not. No, it was written for the ride.
Oh no, I literally for some reason thought it was part of Peter Pan, which was one of their big.
Yeah. Well, Peter Pan, pirates, and I suppose people have always loved, kids have always loved pirates. I don't, as well. Yeah. It's that sort of thing. You play pirates and it's buried treasure and everything like that.
I always remember that ride. Did you ever hear the legend about how that was so realistic? You could see the hair on the pirate's leg as the boat goes underneath.
When he's sitting there on that.
Yeah, he's on the bridge as the pirate ship goes underneath. You look up and there he is drinking his jug of wine, but you can actually see hair growing out of his legs.
It's an amazing attraction.
How realistic it is,
Yeah, it's an amazing attraction. And when you go into the burning village, and you can smell the ash and the
the battles going back and forth with the ships, and then they used to auction off a bride.
Yes.
Or a wife, but they've kind of altered that now, being more for part of the Me Too world out there. They don't do that anymore. But back in the 60s or early 70s, they didn't have a problem with. They were hey, who wants this woman? And
That's right, the redhead. So
yeah. And then
yeah, so
alcoholism was also a big joke too, because everyone was loaded out of their mind, drinking like fish and all that. And the dog was in there though. There was that dog.
Yes,
That
with the keys.
with
And
the keys.
they're trying to get it. So the ride's got so many iconic moments, and then they announced the film, and they announced that obviously Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, Jeffrey Rush, fantastic Australian actor as Hector Barbosa, Keira Knightley as Elizabeth.
Who's the one that played her dad that was in that James Bond movie?
Yes, that is.
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz today. Did
I know.
you?
That is Jonathan, who I've got his autograph because I
Look
saw
at the name below us right now. It's probably coming up.
I know. Hang on, no. And he was in
Jonathan Pryce, Ed.
Thank you. Good, you got there. Who is?
I don't even watch these movies, Ed. So
who was in? He was obviously the lead role in Brazil, the amazing Terry Gilliam film.
Yeah, I always think of him as the bad guy, and I think it's the one with Terry Hatcher and Pierce Brosnan, where he plays the Rupert Murdoch guy and buys up all the
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah.
And he was also the voice of in Jumpin' Jack Flash with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, that was a horrible movie.
Well, it just popped into my memory. It just popped into my memory.
He was also a voice of some other like a car commercial. But going back to Pirates of the Caribbean now, but Johnny Depp.
Yep.
They tickle his nose right there. He was not a huge star at the time. I mean, he had his box office boom, and then he was kind of, I don't know how
he had. I mean, obviously, he had prior to that, he had Sleepy Hollow. He had Edward Scissorhands. He had
but they were more like cult Tim Burton type of films. He's never like Ed Wood was probably his biggest performance, I would say, at that point, next to Edward Scissorhands. I mean, but he was not the box office star. You didn't put his name on a credit and have people flock to it.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like a Tom Cruise or a Harrison Ford really at that stage. No. And I suppose he's he's created, along with the costume designer and Gore Verbinski, the director, and everyone involved, created one of the most iconic movie characters in a long time, as Jack Sparrow. I remember, actually, here's a confession.
What's that?
When I saw this it came out in 2003. Okay. So quite a while. It's hard to believe 17 years ago. I went to see it, and I saw it, and I actually preferred The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen a little bit better.
That was actually not such a bad movie. I know people hate it because it varies so much from the Alan Moore comic book, and I read the Alan Moore comic, and I think it's a bit bloated and not that exciting. I thought The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was a fine film, but people say it's horrendous. I don't know why it gets.
I liked it. Maybe we need to do a forgotten
League of
films.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, the forgotten films. We do a review or something. But I grew to like it. I like Pirates. I enjoyed it and I saw it multiple times. It was a huge hit. Made $600 million worldwide. Yeah. And obviously after that success, Disney said, well, guess what we're going to do? We are going to make a sequel.
But as good as the Pirates of the Caribbean 1 was, I think it was the sequel that came out in 2006, Dead Man's Chest, that really made the pirate craze explode. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. The thing with that, they decided to film Dead Man's Chest and At World's End back to back, so they could do Pirates 2 and 3. And that way, they can save costs, because these films were quite expensive, as most pirate films often are, where they're building pirate ships and everything like that. But Dead Man's Chest came at a time when it's often odd that a sequel is more popular than the original film. Usually they're less popular. This one was huge. It grossed over $1 billion.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I remember the summer it came out. My boys were little. I think Owen was 6 or 7 and Spencer was 8 or 9. And that's the only movie they wanted to see that summer. And we would have to go see it. And then everybody was walking around talking like a pirate, and there was merchandise out there. I remember the boys for Halloween that year they both dressed up as Jack Sparrow, and they had the hat and they had the rings and the swords and the whole thing. And when did you, I don't know if the viewers know this, but when did you start becoming a Captain Jack cosplayer?
So I actually started at I was a Captain Starlight at the Starlight Children's Foundation, which basically is where you dress up as a superhero and you use distraction therapy to help brighten the day of kids who are spending some really tough times in hospital. And I know that at one point they decide, I remember we used to have a theme day. We could do a theme day. And I thought, someone said, "Oh, you look a little bit like Johnny Depp," because I had this. And I go, "Oh, let's dress up. Why don't I dress up as a pirate and do the rounds?" And I remember doing that. So that must have been maybe around the time of, I think it maybe 2006, around Dead Man's Chest. And my costume was horrendous. You know,
Really?
This was sort of not pre-internet, but you know, when, you know, you wouldn't necessarily go online to, as I call it, Jackurate, to be, you know, accurate with your costume and everything like that.
It was probably just this on your head and you called it a day. Yeah.
I've got a photo somewhere here. If I can find it, I'll put it up. If not, it's pretty embarrassing. But, you know, the kids thought it was really good and everything. And I was able to do the voice. So that was good. And then as that kept going, I would go, well, let's add a little bit more costume or things like that. And then a friend, Rob from Village Cinemas in Geelong, contacted me and said, "Oh, I hear you do Pirates. Would you like to do the opening of Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, which came out in 2007? So I said, okay. And we used to do, by that stage, we used to volunteer at the Tall Ship Enterprise, which was a ship, and they do pirate weekends.
Wait,
so
it's not the same ship that was in the Star Trek movie, is it?
Different Enterprise.
Okay, because that was also called Enterprise.
Yes.
No, they had that pirate ship. Remember in Star Trek Generations?
That's right. Well, this one's
it might have been it.
No, this one's a smaller one.
Wait,
but
go back a second. But go back to Pirates. I remember that movie, and it ended with a cliffhanger, and that's why I'm surprised when you just said they filmed back to back, because at the end, when Captain Jack jumps into the mouth of the Kraken, I remember my kids are like, the whole year we spent, how is Captain Jack going to get out of this? Because we thought he was dead. I mean, he just killed himself to save everybody, because if I recall that film, Bootstrap Bill, his son, Orlando Bloom, Will Turner sacrificed himself because did he die in that one, or am I thinking of the third movie when he's like the Dutchman needs a captain?
Thinking of the third one.
So you had Bill Nye as Davy Jones in some amazing effects that was done by Industrial Light and Magic,
which won the Academy Award for
when
effects.
He was Davy Jones with the squid face, and that was amazing. That was one of the greatest makeup effects I've seen, and plus his whole crew was all based on, like, they had been underwater forever, because that was the whole legend, like the Flying Dutchman would come out.
And if you go back to the first one with Captain Barbosa, they were
when the skeletons were under the water.
Because the moonlight showed them as they truly are. The visual
moonlight,
were amazing, and then they just upped it. You
know what was a great scene in that movie? When the pirates are walking on the bottom of the ocean.
Yes.
They had it in there, and they're all skeletons. And as they come up out of the water, I think, don't they materialize back into like human form or something?
They do. Yeah. Once the streams of moonlight miss them.
Yeah. And there was a great fight between Johnny Depp and I can't think of his name.
Jeffrey Rush.
At
the scene.
Where the beams of moonlight are coming through and he's going in and out of it. I mean, they didn't win an effects award for that.
I can't remember. I'm sure they were nominated.
Was that also ILM, Lucasfilm?
Yes, it was all ILM who did the visual effects.
Because I mean, that alone was a cool one too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. And Davy Jones was huge, but so and just
I just remember there was the guy with the lobster claw. Remember, he had like a one of the crewmen. Yeah. And then, for goodness sakes, he had a first mate, and I can't remember what he.
He had
the hammerhead shark.
In fact, I didn't bring it, but I've got the mask in my study at the back, because during when was it 3 years ago or 4 years ago at the comedy festival, we did a parody of Pirates of the Caribbean called Dead Men Tell No Jokes. And I had Shark Face. There was me as Jack Sparrow. Not Jack Sparrow. I was Jake Spanner, Captain Jake Spanner, to avoid any copyright issues. And we had Shark Face, or his actually name was Shark Norris. And we had him with, and I'll put up a picture of him. He looked fantastic that month. Yeah, the characters were amazing, and the level of integration with the effects to this day look amazing. But yeah, that was huge. So that's when I, between that and then I did the opening of Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. And, you know, we'd greet the, you know, at the cinema. And I do remember I was so excited to see it, but I didn't have my glasses on and I didn't wear contacts at that point for being Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting through it at like the 11 o'clock showing that night after being Jack Sparrow for 4 hours, and I couldn't, it was like so blurry. So I had to go the next morning again to see it. And
but the thing I was going to say, that movie, like I said, was so anticipated because it left in a cliffhanger, so they were going to resolve it. I didn't know they filmed them back to back, but that makes sense now because they had it ready to go. But
yes,
the third movie, I remember seeing it with the kids twice. To this day, I'm still vague on what exactly happens in that movie because it was one of those epic special effects, throw everything at the end. Calypso turns into this giant goddess, and they're having the fight around the Tempest,
Maelstrom,
the Maelstrom, and the pirate ships are shooting at each other as the whirlwind, the water spout, whatever you want to call it, vortex, and it's just crazy. And you had Keith Richards in there, and as Jack's dad, and it was just so over the top. But when the film opened, and we wanted to see what happened to the Kraken, you find out that the Kraken was killed off camera by the British fleet. They kind of just mention it in passing because you're like, well, what happened? And then Captain Jack wakes up on that island.
He's in like purgatory.
Well, yeah, with all the white crabs, and they're moving the ship. And I just, no offense, I just thought it was kind of a convoluted mess. Like they didn't know where they were going with it. Just seemed like everything in the kitchen sink was just thrown at the screen. And at the end, they resolve it. You have Bootstrap Bill. Will Turner becomes the new captain, the Dutchman. He cuts his heart out and he disappears. And then she has a baby, Elizabeth. Is her name, I believe. Yeah,
Elizabeth.
And then Captain Jack goes off with his mate. And then isn't the Black Pearl? Am I jumping ahead of myself? Isn't she shrunken down and put in time
into the bottle?
Isn't that the one?
Yeah. So and then that leads into
part 4, Stranger Tides.
Yeah. So. The third, I actually preferred the third one to the first and second one. I think just it's got a fantastic, and I should say overall, the score is fantastic. Again, you know, when you think of iconic characters and you think of iconic pieces of music, and obviously you think of John Williams coming up with those amazing themes. Well, Klaus Badelt, who did the original score, He's a Pirate, Pirates of the Caribbean theme, I think is one of those classic pieces of music, and you don't get them too often. You know, I often say, you know, like in the Marvel films, they've got great scores and things like that, but I couldn't tell you. I could maybe tell you the Avengers theme.
The Avengers has a theme song, but
you know, like Iron Man's theme or anything. I couldn't tell you.
In fact, Danny Elfman, the composer, Danny Elfman, said that a couple years ago. He said his Batman '89 score is iconic because you would hear and that you knew that was Batman, or Superman with John Williams. You hear it, you know, oh, that's Superman. The Marvel movies, because they replace the composer each time, and each composer wants to have his own spin on it, they don't pick up the other one's music scores. So you don't have any identify. There's no Indiana Jones theme. There's no Darth Vader theme. It's all these things. There is a Captain America theme that you really have to listen to when you hear it. I mean, but it's not something you're going to hum walking down the street, or if you heard a couple notes, you go, oh, that's Captain America. And it's a shame too, even with Thor, and you know, you should have these big majestic scores. But I could tell you the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, you know, you hear it going back and forth in the theme.
Now it's look,
it's a
not
shame.
I know, because we watched Man of Steel. I've got a 4K TV, so I bought all
That's
the
Hans
DC
Zimmer,
movies.
isn't it?
Yeah. And now it's a different film and this is a whole different episode. But that theme from Man of Steel, dun, dun, as soon as you hear that, you go, oh, Superman's coming. And the drums, it's funny that, that can be linked to, to a character. And I feel like the Pirates of the Caribbean have done that. And once Hans Zimmer took over, he did 2 and 3. I don't think he did 4, but those themes, kept going.
He reused them. He didn't throw them out.
And that ending, I always use it. We do our shows on the Sea Road Ferries. We do a Jack Sparrow pirate show, and we put on that end battle. And it just sets the mood. It's amazing. Right. So
no, but I just thought it was a little bloated and over the top because I
can understand that, but I just loved it, and that didn't do as well as Dead Man's Chest. It only did $960 million.
Yeah, it was close. But here's where the trouble starts now. Isn't the next 4 becomes development hell, or am I jumping ahead of myself?
No, you're jumping a little bit ahead. So
okay, because
that came out in 2007, and then they decided, obviously, it still did very well. Right. It's they decided, well, let's make another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So they Gore Verbinski wasn't involved, the director of the first 3. Right. Jerry Bruckheimer still was producing. It came out 2011. So what's that? 4 years later.
Yeah, that was like when the Marvel movies started coming out. And I remember the Avengers were out. We're like, oh, we got to go see this because we love the Pirates movies. And then, again, it had great special effects. Isn't that the one with Blackbeard? Or am I
That's with Blackbeard, and it had the mermaids in it.
And it had a smoky effect.
Yes.
It was that guy that from
Deadwood.
Javier.
From Deadwood, he was in.
I think of him as the country for no.
Javier Bardem, you're getting, that's the last film. You're getting that.
Oh, all right. I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Who was the bad guy in 4 then?
Ian McShane.
But it was Blackbeard.
Yes.
It was Blackbeard the pirate, and he was looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Yes, the chalice. Here, I've got it here. Here we go. He was looking for this. Hold on, my. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, like the Holy Grail.
Yep. So, and there's my.
And the woman that was in the movie was it Penelope Cruz?
Penelope Cruz, yeah.
Right. But that one, it just didn't. I remember we saw it, and it was just like we just saw it. There was no big to do about it. I think it opened in July here, but I think the Avengers was already a huge hit that summer, and it just seemed like an afterthought. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because it didn't do as well in the United States.
Right.
But it made worldwide over $1 billion. So look, I enjoyed it, but it was it wasn't. It was more like it was a little bit like if I say, like Ant-Man, you've got the main.
It's not as big as.
And Ant-Man was a little bit, still fun. But
it was just another adventure. It was like, oh, this is it's not Crystal Skull level, where it's not as epic as the other movies. Yes. But it's like, oh, it's just another adventure with Captain Jack, which is fine.
Yeah.
Not every one of them could be, like the same thing with the James Bond movie. You're going to have your Thunderball, but then you're going to have Live and Let Die, and then you're going to have Moonraker or some big epic, and then you're going to have one that's A View to a Kill. There's no way you're going to consistently keep hitting home runs out of the ballpark on each movie, unlike the Marvel movies. But I agree with you. No, I agree with you. There's like every time I see a Marvel movie, we always secretly go, is this the one that's going to be the one that just drops and doesn't make at least a couple $100 million?
And that's a whole nother episode again, because I always, as a DC guy, I always feel like Marvel gets a free pass for some films that aren't as good as, they're okay, but they're not great. But you know what? they're elevated up, and you go
because
see,
they tied them into the other films. Like you have to go see Captain Marvel because this is the last movie before the Infinity
still
War.
haven't seen it.
And
Still haven't seen it.
but it's like, well, she's going to be a key element to the film, so you'll have to see it. So they get a lot of people that just get it off their checklist, like, oh, I saw it, so they're like, I'm in the know, I don't want to miss out. But there was no high stakes in this movie. In fact, Orlando Bloom didn't come back for this one, right?
No, neither
Neither did Keira Knightley.
You had the only recurring characters really are Captain Jack Sparrow, Hector Barbosa, Joshua
Jeffrey
Gibbs,
Rush,
who
Gibbs is back. I met Gibbs. In fact, I was going to say I got you an autograph from Gibbs. In fact, Gibbs was at that show. Yeah, it said, Ed, where's all the rum or something, if I recall. And the little actor was at that show, too.
Oh, was he?
Marty
Kleber?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you know who's in those movies? I didn't realize it, is Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman from the Black Panther movies and from the Hobbit movies, who played Bilbo. He was wasn't he the British officer in the first Pirates movies?
No.
That's not him?
No.
That's not.
No.
Martin Freeman is not in any of the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
I am 99.9%.
All right.
You've sowed some doubt.
I could have sworn he was on her Royal Navy.
No,
in a brief scene, because I'm like, that's the guy.
No.
Well, who are the two guys that were on The Office, the version of the British version of The Office? The tall fella with the wooden eye.
And so Martin Freeman was in The Office, the British Office.
Yes.
Okay, and so was the guy with the
big tall blonde guy. Yeah.
Yes.
The Dwight Schultz character.
Yes. But he was in it, but not Martin Freeman.
Oh, all right. But those two guys, they were as well, and the monkey was in there.
Oh, cool. Jack the Undead Monkey, of course.
Yeah.
Goes
with
Hector.
He was in the movie.
So
like I said, they had everybody in it, and it just, I mean, it looked great. They had that great effect at the end of the film where they go to the Fountain of Youth and everything's upside down.
Yes.
You know, remember that bit? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of clever. But it's not a bad movie.
No, it was fun. I remember I actually saw it in IMAX in 3D, and it was how was that? And that, I suppose, added an element to it. So, but it was a huge hit, and then it actually took quite a long time. Now that's when we're getting into a little bit of development.
Yeah, now it gets, because I remember it ended with another cliffhanger, and I was more excited to see that because it showed Elizabeth in bed at the end, and you heard the door open up, and you saw the silhouette of Davy Jones.
No, you're jumping ahead. That's the fourth one. That's the fifth one, man.
That
Come
is
on.
The fourth one. Okay. Well, whatever movie that was, I said, oh, we're going to see that one because Davy Jones was coming back.
All right.
And they had the stuff there. Okay, so the fourth one's done. Now we're into Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Yes. So this was filmed
number 5.
Yes. So this was filmed in Queensland.
Which is right near you.
Well, 4 hour. Yeah, it's 4 or 5 hours away.
That's relatively clear. No, in America, that's nearby. I mean, I drove 3.5 hours for a comic book.
2 states, at least 2 states above where we have to drive.
Now, why was it filmed there and the other ones weren't filmed?
I think just they had, tax incentives and things like that.
Okay.
Now, there was a lot of, there was some great Aussie actors in there, which is fantastic. Bruce Spence, who's in it.
Okay. Gyro Captain in the Mad Max movies.
Yes, he was in Lord of the Rings. He was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
He's been in, he's been in a lot of the I'm sure he probably popped up in the Matrix as well series. He may not have. But no,
I know he was in it. Yeah.
Some great Aussie actors. It had problems. So I know that Johnny Depp had injured his hand at one point.
That's what the problems were.
There was the whole.
I thought there were scripts.
There was a whole. They got the directors of Kon-Tiki, which was a smallish film about Thor Heyerdahl and his Kon-Tiki boat, the journey of that, which was a low budget but a really great film. And they came on board to direct the next Pirates of the Caribbean. There was a lot of problems. I think there were just a lot of issues going on.
A lot of problems.
So I know that they had Johnny Depp and Amber Heard had either smuggled in their dogs, pistol and boom.
Oh, was that all the same time?
Yeah. So there was a lot of halts on production and things like that. In fact, when when I did see the film, I was quite excited because one of the henchmen to Captain Salazar was one of the clown doctors I used to work with as a Captain Starlight many years ago. So it was nice to see.
When you say clown doctors, you're not talking about his medical competence. He was just a clown who dressed as a doctor.
Like Patch Adams, the clown doctors.
Yeah. Oh, so he was a real physician?
Yeah. No, he would they would just go in and like the Captain Starlights would
was he a surgeon? Because I heard he was a real cut up.
Oh, can you hear those crickets?
Insert laughter. Insert laughter at this point.
That's all right. We don't want to get flagged for fake.
Did he leave people in stitches, Ed?
Well, only if he arrived and they had stitches. So yes. Let's just move on, shall we? So anyway,
did he make people sick? He did when they got the bill. Hey,
the film had a lot of problems and issues and things like that. So
was that the reason why it was delayed so long in release?
It was quite. Yeah,
I heard they missed the schedule because Disney only has so many weekends, and they have the Star Wars movies at that point, and then they had the Marvel movies, and they're okay.
2017 is when it came out, and it didn't do. It didn't do as well at the box office. However,
again, great special effects though, because there was that smoke effect.
Oh, where he was
Blackbeard when he shows up, he's all burnt. Oh God!
Oh, here we go. You're going back.
I got the wrong movie again.
Time Travel was our last episode. Okay.
Which is the movie? No, this movie has the smoky
the ink with
that's what
Salazar,
it was.
and he was like underwater. It had that. It had a young Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
which was the de-aging effect. The effects were amazing. It had a great payoff. I felt like a good story arc. You had Orlando Bloom back. You got Keira Knightley back.
Yeah, everybody was back. Yeah.
Spoilers, but Hector Barbosa, you find his daughter. You see his daughter, and you have his. They've got.
He can only show son. Up. He can show up at sunset when there was that green flash. He can come back. Yep.
So I felt like it tied everything together.
It was a very good story.
There were some great action sequences. It was funny. There was some really
the least successful of all the pirate films.
It was the second, but after the first, it still made $760 million worldwide.
That's not. But how much did it cost to make, though?
Well, probably about the same $200 million.
Oh, okay. So sometimes they look at that and they go, "Well, it's not a hit," even though you say 750, like Solo made 400 or 500 million, but it cost because of that problem. They 400 million to make it. So.
But I've got to say, of all the Pirates films, I think I actually like it the most.
Really?
I think it's because just the humor's a little bit. There's a great sequence where Captain Jack meets up with his uncle, who's Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And that's absolutely hilarious. There's just a lot of lines in there that are a little bit, that remind me of the 70s Benny Hill lines, just quite, it's, just a little risque, but fun risque, that you're going, oh, that made it in a Disney film.
So the character of Captain Jack, we didn't even talk about.
No.
The reason why he works so well is he's kind of like a rock and roll pirate.
He is.
And when I mean that, he's kind of like if Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Paul McCartney, if rock stars from the 60s or something became pirates, they would be Captain Jack. They had that rebellious rock and roll, party all night, drink, shoot up, do whatever the hell you need to do, and still manage to survive. Flair about them. They were
absolutely.
They were shady, but they also had a bit of a heart of gold, but don't trust them too much because they're still a pirate at the end of the day.
That's right. He was nominated as Best Actor in a Leading Role for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, the first one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I never knew that he got anything like that.
Yeah. So, and because I remember, that he was, that's again an instance of someone really totally taking on a character and embodying, the character. and it works. You sort of think of pirates, you know, they're, you know, with you never, you know, the mascara and and the beard bits. I've got my beard bits here. This is so you can see here. I've got to say, his costume is one of the most amazing costumes. This took me, well, I've been working on this probably for 15 or 16 years, that costume.
Really?
Yeah, to make it as accurate as possible. So I do have, I'll just show you here. These are the actual boots.
Those Buccaneer boots,
Yeah, that are made by the same company that made them for the film. Yeah,
wow.
The CA boots, or boots.
Are they comfortable
Texas.
to wear or not really?
You know what? They actually are. They're quite.
Oh wow!
It's quite amazing. So yeah, so yeah, it took me a long time to get that costume together, and I think that's what helps. That it's a bit, again, like, you know, like Star Wars, that used everything looks like it's got a purpose, and
yeah.
The costuming is fantastic, and it's, again, like a bit like Indiana Jones. It's got a silhouette where you see the shadow.
Yeah.
Or people from miles away.
Could tell.
When I'm walking down the street going to like a gig, they just yell out, "Captain Jack," or "Jack." And I have to go, "There's a captain in there somewhere, mate." It's amazing. Yeah. They just know you and want to give you a hug, which is always nice.
That doesn't happen to me ever, so I wouldn't.
Well, not in this COVID world, but unfortunately,
no, this is pre-COVID.
I've only had one.
Nowadays, it would be like, "Stand aside, matey."
That's right.
That's right. 6 feet back, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. So that was sort of while it wasn't a big hit, it still was. It still was a hit, and they've had obviously talk of continuing the franchise.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last I heard was earlier this summer. I believe they said they were going to do a 6th one, but they were going to recast the part at one point as a female captain, but then they said, no, they're not going to do that. And Captain Jack would be a supporting character. So I don't know where it is at the moment.
So I'm not sure they do either. Obviously, with the current situation, everything sort of, slowed down and everything like that. But they did announce that they're doing a film with Margot Robbie in the lead.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
But it's not. She's not being Jack Sparrow. It's not a reboot. It's not a. So she's not being Jack Sparrow or anything like that.
It's in the same universe, maybe. Yeah. It's like off to the side, like
again,
Solo
it's like,
or Rogue One. It's like, it's not Star Wars. It's off to the side. Is that what the plan is?
Yeah, like if you take it from the Marvel universe, it's like just
It's a sidebar. Yeah.
So so there's that, and then there's also talk of another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but again, do they know whether they will do one with Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow? I would argue, and this is someone who you can play Jack Sparrow pretty easily. Not easily. I can do it pretty convincingly when I'm all in costume, and other people do it as well. But I don't know. It's like Indiana Jones. I'm not sure if recasting it would actually work.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like Batman or James Bond where it doesn't make a difference who's wearing the outfit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward. Again, the films have made a couple of $1 billion. You've got the rides, which are fixed.
Oh, yeah. They redid the rides. So we didn't even talk about that. Last time I was at Disney World in January, before all this started, they still had the Jack Sparrow incorporated into the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction.
Yes, and they've got Hector Barbosa on the on the Black Pearl. They've renamed it, and that was great. They've got the Davy Jones in there, and look,
they did change it. I saw it a couple years ago, where as you were about to go down into the boat, there was like a mist.
Yes,
a water mist, and they had projected him onto it, so you saw that tentacle face.
I had Blackbeard projected on there when
that's gone now though. That wasn't here this January when I went.
So
they got rid of that bit.
They've got that. There's I really can't wait to go at Shanghai Disneyland. They've got a whole Pirates Cove area.
Oh yeah.
And the ride for that looks absolutely amazing, like
It's not the same old boat
Oh
ride
my
thing?
gosh, no! They use 3D. They use these giant.
Oh,
You go
really?
underwater. There's videos on YouTube.
Is
I'd
it open
recommend.
now?
I don't know if it's open at the moment.
Well, I mean,
But,
not because of the COVID thing, but I said,
but
was
yeah,
it
yeah,
open?
yeah. It came.
It was
It
open.
opened.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say maybe 2015 or 16.
yeah.
Excuse me. So, I would recommend, if you're not going to get there, watch the video, and you're going, oh my gosh, this looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a shame. That's in Shanghai.
Shanghai, yeah. So that's we haven't been to Shanghai Disneyland, so so that's on the cards at some point in the future.
No, my wife was in Shanghai. I should have asked her to go.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Well,
there's
I'm gonna say, as far as merchandise goes, we can talk about that. Now, I know my sons. I didn't go look through it, but I do remember they had Pirates of the Caribbean video games. We had those. I believe there was a Lego one that the kids used to play.
yes.
I know Owen actually read. They did a young adult, or maybe, I don't know, what do you want to call it? They did Young Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, there was a
adventure
book
books.
series.
Yeah.
Yes.
My son would read those when he was like 10 years old. It's like Captain Jack when he was a boy.
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah, so they had the book series. There's a lot of
Yeah.
books. They brought out action figures as well. I didn't
They did.
bring
They did.
I didn't bring any. I've got, actually, do I have? Oh, hang on.
Well, we had little plastic figures. They're actually upstairs. I should have grabbed those before we started the show. But little tiny PVC piece
Well, yeah.
of all the
ones.
pirates.
These are the ones from the last film that they brought out, which were a little bit more kiddie orientated.
Yeah, no, those aren't the ones I'm
Yeah.
talking. These were more molded to look like the on-screen
They've
characters.
got the good old. They brought out the good old. I won't play this too long. Oh, hang on.
Oh, that's the
They've
that's
got
an
Hallmark,
ornament.
good old Hallmark.
Yeah, Hallmark. Yep. Looks like it needs new batteries.
Yeah, just as well.
But it used to play the song, or did it do the Pirates theme song?
It did the Pirates theme song. So they had. Oh yeah, they've got the. You know, the Hallmark ornaments.
Yeah, yeah.
NECA brought out.
Oh wow.
So the large figures.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, so that's kind of good. I think.
You know, it's funny. My friend Rob won from Sideshow Collectibles years ago. I believe it's like a 6 or quarter scale Captain Jack statue.
Yes.
And he doesn't care for the Pirates movies at all. And he won it online. Simply put his name in, and they sent it to him, and it was huge. And I think he just sold it off to somebody for like $100 or whatever. But I think of that when you were showing me that. I'm like, what? All I have is a small little Mickey Mouse.
Oh yes.
Toy from the ride, and Owen, when he was into video games, there was a character. This isn't Captain Jack, but that's
yes, Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. They did a whole pirate thing.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I
don't think there was much merchandise. Was there a cereal? Was there a breakfast cereal we never picked up?
There wasn't.
You know what? There was, actually.
Was it?
There was. It wasn't as good as the Batman cereal, which will be eaten once we hit 250 subscribers.
That's right.
But no, there was a Pirates of the Caribbean cereal because I remember my son eating it.
I'm sure there was. This is my favorite. This is actually a. So if you look at.
Oh my.
It's a bit hard
Does
to.
he talk?
I think it's some of you heard of me. Drink up me heart is your home.
Is that Hot Toys or is that from Disney World?
There we go. So this is Real Action Heroes. So it's like a Hot Toys one, which I've never owned one of these because they're just so
expensive. They really are.
And I managed on Facebook Marketplace to buy one for $100 or something like that.
Yeah, usually they're like $200 or $300. Yeah.
Well, they're now going for like $500 or $600. But
really, wow.
I mean, it is the most amazing sculpt. So it's great to have because I use it as a.
Is that one of those figures where you could take the back of his head off and move his eyeballs?
No, this isn't that one.
Those are creepy.
That was the Hot Toys ones.
Yeah, I've seen those. I'm like, that's gonna be the scariest thing I've ever seen.
So, but that's like the good old GI Joes used to have eagle eye.
Yeah, the eyes would go back and forth. Hey, did Funko do a line of them too? They do.
I've got them in the living room. Yeah, so they've.
Oh, do you? They did Funko Pops.
The hardest one to find is actually Captain Salazar, which is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I've got him as when he spookiness.
Yeah.
And then is it Hot Topic? Is that a place?
Hot Topics down the street. Yeah, they're
Okay,
stores.
so
Yeah.
I remember going to Hawaii when I was in Hawaii, and I said, "Oh, do you have the exclusive Salazar, which is him with his long hair and everything like that?" And they said, "No, we sold out of." So that's the hardest one to get. But yeah, they did a whole series of the Pirates figures. So I've got a couple of Jack Sparrows and Elizabeth.
What about at the Disney parks? Do they have like exclusive? I know there's T-shirts. I mean, my son used to have a T-shirt with the little dog with the keys. Oh, you've got your pirate shirt on?
Yeah, I've got quite a few Pirates of the Caribbean ones.
Actually, when you walk out of the ride, they took a lot of the Indiana Jones souvenirs and kind of repurposed them and called them Pirates of the Caribbean, because I remember they had like what was the pistols, and they'd have some guns and some props that you'd get from. And the map, I think we talked about that before. I have a map from Disney World, which is like Indiana Jones. You have the same map. But
yeah, it's somewhere here. I must have.
Yeah.
I can't find it at the moment. But yeah,
there's no 16 millimeters or 8 millimeter films on those.
No, because they came out.
After that.
The only one you can get, and I've got a Super 8 millimeter, is of Disneyland, and
there's a Pirates one. Yeah,
the ride's on there. And they had records and things like that as well, which I've got. So,
what's the hardest collectible to get for Pirates of the Caribbean, other than that Funko Pop? Is there like one thing out there that's like thousands?
They made Masters replicas made swords and pistols.
Oh yeah,
and they're kind of hard to find, because I'm always looking for the costume, because I don't have an accurate pistol or sword. And you need a license. I don't know how it is in America, but
here they give guns out with a tank of gas.
Well,
I don't care.
I can't obviously buy an accurate metal sword, because you need to have a license and everything like that.
They give those out at kids' parties here.
Really? They're in the cereals. So
they're in the cereal.
Yeah, and Cracker Jack. So yes. So they're usually hard to find. And there's some people like in the United States and the UK who make so movie accurate like the rings,
the jewelry,
and things like. So again, Masters replicas, I usually have those, but they do wear out when you actually have to wear them, or you're doing because often I'm climbing the rigging on a pirate ship or something in that, and they're not designed for that sort of thing. And the wigs are like that. That's like a $300 or $400 wig, because it's again trying to be as accurate as
real
possible.
Johnny Depp hair. Yeah.
It is. It's from his back. That's where I got it. So, but the thing is, I think when you're Jack Sparrow, as long as you're in the character, and it's like when I say with Indiana Jones cosplayers, as long as you don't, you don't have to. Most people don't know. Oh, they aren't.
Yeah.
They aren't the Alden boots or whatever, or you don't have a Webley pistol. That's okay. Just try and embody the characters.
Yeah. And then you don't have to get into it like, oh, there's a snap in the leather jacket under the collar. That means it's a Last Crusade one because he doesn't have that. I mean, you can get crazy with it.
I do remember being a bit terrified because I got hired for a gig for they did Pirates of the Caribbean with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, where they do the film and and I got hired to do the after show party, and there were people from high ups from Disney there.
Oh, great.
And and I thought, oh, I'm going to get sued, but I didn't. They were lovely. They were really, really nice. So, which was kind of good.
The question is, before we wrap this episode up, did you ever get a chance to meet Johnny Depp or see him up close?
No, I haven't yet. I've spoken with some people who've worked on the set, and also just through Facebook, through being a Jack Sparrow, I suppose, impersonator. There's the gentleman who was his double on the films and things like that. But I haven't yet. I've got to. I'm looking forward to meeting. I do love Kevin McNally.
Gibbs.
Yeah, Gibbs. So one day I'll have to. I know
he's a nice fella.
Yeah, he's actually on Cameo. There's a website Cameo.
Oh yeah.
Where you can. Yeah, so I think he's there. Martin Kleber. A lot of the Pirates guys are
the
on
supporting
there.
cast.
Yeah. Which would be kind of nice to do. So that's not a bad thing, especially in this day and age where you can't actually go out and meet.
Wait a minute, was Zoe Saldana in one of the Pirates movies?
She was in the first one. Yes.
Was she Calypso?
No,
I
that
just
was
thought of that for a
no,
minute. I'm like,
no.
wait a
Naomi
minute.
Harris was.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, wait a second, because how many franchise movies has she been in? She's
Zoe
got
Saldana was in the very first Pirates of the
she
Caribbean.
was in the first Pirates movie.
Yes,
She
as
was
one of the
in.
crew.
She's in the Guardians movies. She's in the
Avatar.
Avatar film. She's in the Pirates movie.
Yep.
And I thought she was in another uh, serial film.
Not Batman serial.
No. I was just gonna say because besides because Johnny Depp is probably one of the wealthiest actors because of the track record he's got with box office hits, and then of course you've got Harrison Ford and Sam Jackson and such. But I don't know. Would you count Orlando Bloom because he's done all the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings movies, and then these?
I suppose it's hard enough to get one hit movie,
Yeah.
let alone a hit franchise, and then to be in multiple ones. But I mean, I always, when they say Samuel L. Jackson is the most popular, actor of all time because he's been in all these hit
Star Wars movies, and yeah.
I'm not going to look. I didn't go to Captain America to see Samuel L.
Sam Jackson have a cameo at the end.
So I think that's a little,
Oh, all right.
But we'll see. Look, it'll be interesting to see what happens with going forward with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, I'm just saying the whole idea is that Johnny Depp is well off from these films. I don't think he has to work again.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I don't know about the latest thing with his divorce.
I think he's got he is a true rock and roller, and probably finance is not his strong point.
Yeah.
But it would be great to see him back, as Captain Jack. Again, it's always interesting to see, characters as they grow older, and grow into the roles and things like that.
Did they ever do an animated show?
No, but they should have.
I was going to say that Disney does so many other things that I could see them doing a kid's version of Captain Jack.
They did bring out some action figures that were sort of animated in style, but there was not to my. If there is, I'll put it down here. But
I'm just curious because there was no comic books. Because trust me, I would have known about that. Because I remember, like I said, my son was so into it. But no, you should. If you ever come back to the States, I'll take you up to Cape Cod. Yeah, we'll go to Pirates Cove Golf. They have the miniature golf places, and they're all themed pirates. And each hole has a different legacy or legend about a pirate. And there's Blackbeard and you name it. That's how I learned all my pirate history, is going through Pirates Cove Golf, mini golf at the Cape Cod vacation area.
That's how cool. I could imagine vacationing at Cape Cod. That sounds very, very opulent.
Yeah, and they used to have a Pirates over in Hyannisport. They'd have this tour where the kids were little, and they would dress the kids up with the makeup and such, and you'd go on board a little boat, and you'd go around the harbor, and then you'd be attacked by pirates. And I remember my son was in tears because they literally have a guy jump on board your boat, and he's like, all right, I'm here for this and that now, and who's going to go walk the plank? And my son was like, oh my God, it's real,
Well, we did that in Hawaii. There's a pirate ship that we did that as well. Where
Pirate Adventure.
Yeah, we did it in January just this year. We thought let's do it because that's sort of what we do on our ship. So let's see how they do it, and it was great fun.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought it was unique to my area, but
yeah.
No, well, there you go.
So that's it. So I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean.
We forgot one Pirates related movie because I was looking at myself as an old Josh Brolin. Goonies is basically a pirate movie when he got One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely correct.
So that's probably the most successful pirate-esque movie besides Pirates in the last 40 years, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely right. I forgot about it, and that great scene at the end, and the sequel that never was.
Which was also a real ship too. They spent all the money building that giant pirate ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the sequel that never was.
Yeah, that's true. There's another episode.
That's an episode waiting to happen.
That's right. So there's some great collectibles. I've got my wonderful behind the movie banner that's from Pirates of the Caribbean in 2003. That used to be up at the cinema, and I used to put that up in my classroom for the kids because it's a nice thing. I've had to string it up.
Yeah.
I think my blinds are going to fall down any second now because I've tied it to everything.
You tied them up there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. But yeah, so there's lots of good Pirates things, and if you're, they're all certainly in Australia. All 5 films are on Disney Plus. Get some popcorn, get a beer or something like that, and just
or rum.
Oh, rum, of course.
But why is the rum gone?
That's the problem. I've got my On that note, thanks for watching this episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If you like the show, what's something that the listeners can do?
They can subscribe to the show. They could tell their friends. They could leave a review for us too. They could do all these type of things. The more shows we do, the more people watching, the more fun you're going to have.
That's right. And we'd like to also keep it interactive. So if you've got, again, thank you to everyone who's commented on, either enjoying it or fact checking us. Usually I try and get I put the facts below if I can. Sometimes I miss them. So if we do make a mistake, just let us know. We'd love to hear either way.
Be nice about it, though.
That be right, lad. Okay. It's time for us to say avast ye as we head off. This has been Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch. Wait, what is my name? First mate, Mitch Halleck, out there.
That's right. And I thought you were going to do a bang like Robin Williams out of but you look a bit like.
We forgot. Hook counts as a pirate movie too, but
it does.
The less said about that movie, the better.
That's right. Are you gonna roll up into a ball?
I'm gonna roll up like that little fat kid and just roll out now. I'll see you later, Ed.
All right. This has been Mitch and Ed saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Arr.